All right, so this is the last leg of especially the directing class. We want to touch on the technical parts of shooting, cameras, and all of that, the technical part of directing. Okay, so let's get straight into it. We understand that one of the key things a director should know how to direct is the camera and everything that works with it. Let's start from here. Excuse me. Pepsi is doing his work. Before you start a shoot, there are certain questions you should ask and get answers to. Question number one, what is the destination of this material? Okay, why? Because how you shoot for the cinemas is different from how you shoot for Netflix in a way, different from how you shoot for YouTube, different from how you shoot for Iroko TV and Africa Magic. Most of these places, the HD video is acceptable, which is we'll talk about video resolution in a minute. Okay, but if you're shooting for Netflix and for cinemas, for example, you have to shoot 4K. In fact, Netflix has an approved list of cameras. Like you must shoot with that, the camera you shoot with must be within that list. If you shoot with anything else other than what is on that list, your film does not even get onto Netflix in the first instance. Okay, so the first question you want to ask is, what is the destination platform for this material, for this video? That would inform the format you shoot, the resolution you shoot, how you shoot, etc., including the budget. Okay, after you're done with that, you can now, from the answer, like I would always say, our work is to work from answer to question. Once you know what the end result is, it's easy to rewind and know how to start so that you can arrive at that destination. All right, so with that said, let's take a look at types of cameras, basic video resolution, etc. So let's start with video resolution. We'll talk about types of cameras in a minute. Let's talk about types of cameras. Okay. All right, so there are three major types of cameras. You have DSLRs, dedicated video cameras, and digital cinema cameras. Now, I've showed us a dedicated. This lady that just came to pick some of our equipment. She's the one who was doing the podcast that I said she's an alumni of the school. You remember? I think I mentioned her that we rally around students. Oh, okay, maybe it wasn't in this class. Maybe it was in the cinematographic class. So she's an alumni of the school. She 2021 or so. Then she tells me she has a podcast to shoot. And every camera person working for her, alumni. The first set of equipment she shot with from here. The lighting from here. Midway in between, because I was busy, but it had started. She got some other guy to continue directing, because I also directed for her when we started. And I'm also a panelist on her show. I'm one of the people she interviews and all. Midway, somebody else picked up. And then the last set of episodes, she still came to pack equipment from there. I'm not renting it to her. That's what we call the Lagos Film School ecosystem. We help you achieve whatever it is you set out to do. So if this Oga here has a production to do, I can call all of us. He might not be able to call everybody here, but if he intimates me with it, I can call us up to support him with his project. Most times for free, or it's just like to cover for logistics and basics. Why? Because the day you also need, I can call him and he will not say no. Is it that when all of us have worked for him for almost for free, then I will now call him for somebody else, he will say no? You understand? And that builds community, because when you're starting up, sometimes money is not the easiest thing to access. And if you have a community who can reduce how much you spend, it makes it much, much easier for you to pull projects through. All right, so three types of cameras: DSLRs, dedicated, and digital cinema cameras. But you notice that DSLRs says DSLR and mirrorless. They are essentially the same kinds of equipment, very similar. Yeah, I'll talk about the difference in a minute. So these are DSLRs. These are the most common cameras that we shoot with. Let me rewind a little, or rather, let me go forward. I'll come back to DSLRs. You also have dedicated video cameras. This, guys, your camcorder, your etc. This shoots video, this shoots film. It sounds a little counterintuitive. You would ask me which one is video, which one is film. Are they not the same? Actually, they are not. Video is different from film. Well, video used to be different from film. Back in the day, the camera we used to shoot film is different from the camera used to shoot video. But with the advent of digital technology, the two technologies have been merged. So the same camera can now shoot video and shoot film. However, this camera, the dedicated video camera, shoots more of video. When we say video, what do we mean? Video is, this slide is not doing justice to what I have in mind. Hold on, let me close this slide. Okay, so tools of the trade. What do we mean? The tools we use for film making, okay? These are the tools we use: camera, lenses, lights, light shapers or modifiers, stabilizers, moving or roving tools, and sound recording equipment. So let's start with the camera. In the early days, video and film used to be two separate technologies, but with the advent of digital, a convergence has come that has blurred the lines. Now, a camera can shoot both video and film. This, the image on top, is the film celluloid. A film camera records on celluloid. A video camera records on a cassette. This is what a film camera looks like, the old analog film camera. And this is a video camera, not digital now, analog video camera that records on a cassette. So yes, undetachable. The lens is not detachable. Now, I said that to say this. Video is different from film. We've seen that the camera for video is different from the camera for film. But what exactly is video and what is film? This is video. This is film. Do you notice the difference? Video is sharp, has high sharpness, high contrast, high saturation. The saturation is the richness of the color. The sharpness, you can see how sharp it is. Compare that. It looks soft. And film is supposed to look soft, dream-like. That's the idea of film. Not too harsh, not too clear. In recent times, film is beginning to look more like video. But naturally, film is what we call, if you read tutorials, watch videos, you'll hear how to get a cinematic image. For every time you hear a cinematic image, what they're referring to is video that looks like film, meaning you're trying to shoot to make it look like film, not video. This is what video looks like. This is what film looks like. They are different. Video is used for real life events, like you're shooting news, sports, documentaries, etc. Events generally. Film for music videos and movies. Some documentaries are beginning to look more like film now than like video. But back in the day, documentaries used to be shot like video. Do we get the distinction between the two now? Good. Now let's talk about the equipment we use for it. Oh, before we go, major differences. Like I said, video has high sharpness, high contrast, high saturation, looks very, very close to real life. Film, on the other hand, low contrast, low saturation, low sharpness, and looks dreamlike. Okay? So then we come back to where we were, which is there are three types of cameras: DSLRs, dedicated video cameras, and digital cinema cameras. I skipped DSLRs to say that this guy, a dedicated video camera, is the digital version of this guy. You remember this guy? I said this guy shoots video. This is the digital version of that. This is a digital video camera. So you're shooting news, TV station, this is more of what they will use. Events, this is more of what they will use. It doesn't shoot film as well, not as much as. It shoots, it's perfect for video, not for film. Same with these other guys, perfect for film, not so much for video. Because the quality of the image you get from it is film-like. 80% to 90% of films that that win the Academy Awards for Best Picture are shot with the ARRI. It's strange that in Nigeria, we shoot more with the RED than with the ARRI. Nigeria has a warped sense. I don't understand how we do. If you want to buy a printer today, which printer are you? HP. If you want to buy a laptop today, which laptop are you going to buy? What if I told you that HP is number 4 on the list of printers in the world? When they are rating printers, HP is number 4, not first, not second. You might wonder, so which printer is number 1? You will laugh if I tell you, not laptop now, not laptop, printer. Epson. Epson is number 1 printer in the world. Canon is number 2. Brother sometimes overtakes HP and is number 3. In some places, HP is number 3, Brother is number 4. OKI is even higher sometimes on the list than HP. But you know, we have a problem in Nigeria. Tabati dojule income. Once we say this is the way, now waiting they tell me make they use with this. This is the app. We don't switch. We don't move from there. I'm on tabernacle. Do you get? Okay. That's the reason why RED to us is the highest standard when it comes to cameras. However, RED is not globally. I've picked ARRI 17 times before you remember that there's a RED. Okay, but then there's something to it, an ecosystem, meaning if you use a RED camera, if something were to go wrong with it, there's a community around you that also use RED that can support you. If you use ARRI, on the other hand, because it's not so common, there is not so much of a community. It's like if you buy a Mac computer for editing. You can't enter any business center and say, borrow me your Windows, I want to install them. It's not possible. But if you have the Windows computer, you can go, if this is your office, ground floor, you can go to the next floor and you have Windows there. Somebody will have a community because we all use the same products. So that should be one of the considerations you should have when you want to adopt any technology. Is there a community around it? When a new phone enters the market like Nigeria, it's difficult. It's 50-50. Because if you buy a new phone, chances are, if there's a challenge with that new phone, there wouldn't be parts, accessories for that phone. But, you know, if you buy a Techno today, anything will do your Techno, you don't even need to go to Arena. On your street, the next phone repair guy would have accessories for Techno. Do we get that? So consider that when it comes to adopting a technology to shoot your film with, both cameras, editing, accessories, etc. Moving on. I think we get the idea now. Oh, then lastly is the DSLR. I said I was going to skip it. Let me come back to the DSLR. Okay. Now the DSLR is a mixture. Hello. Les, good afternoon. Who is on the line, please? Who is on the line? Is this Emmanuel or who? Oh, I remember I was in class and I said, call me back by 5. Class is still going on. Class is still going on. I will call you back when I'm done, please. I will call you back, okay? Thank you. So before you leave, please remind me that I want to call. All right. Now, DSLRs are like halfway between a digital video camera and a digital cinema camera. While a video camera shoots video, it doesn't shoot film very well, and a film camera shoots film perfectly, but doesn't shoot video very well, a DSLR can shoot video like a video camera, and it can shoot film like a film camera. It's the reason why DSLRs is what we use largely here. When Nollywood started, we started with these guys, this one, digital video camera, the PD150, the DSR, 500 or something. Those are the cameras we were using back then, video cameras, but they were digital video cameras. They used them tapes, mini DV tapes back then. Okay, before HD cameras came, this one that replaced PD150, and then DSLRs came. And the power of the DSLR, you can remove the lens, and change the lens that is on the camera. Why is that important? Because the lens is what determines the type of picture, the feel of the image you record. Different lenses give you different feels. It's like you put reading glasses. You know, different glasses would read and magnify things differently. Do you get it? Okay. So when DSLRs came, they were a major deal breaker. It shoots almost like film. You can replace the lens, get almost any kind of image you want, and people ported to DSLRs. Before Red now came, and then everybody shooting film and music videos ported to the Red, and they left DSLRs to the rest of us who are shooting whatever it is we're shooting. Okay. So in closing, what camera should you use? Second criteria, I mentioned the first criteria, the final destination for what you will shoot. Remember, determines what camera you choose. The second criteria is your budget. For example, the Red rents for about 250K per day, full chain, meaning camera, lenses, tripod, and lights. Does it come with lights at that PP? I'm not even sure. It doesn't, okay? But it comes with tripod, lenses, and boom mic. It doesn't come, that's sound, okay? However, you can rent a DSLR from between 20, 30, maybe even 50K for the Blackmagic. Okay, you see that the price difference is quite much. You can't want to spend 1.5 million on a film and go and rent Red. Is it one day you want to spend on location? By the time you spend 5 days, how much have you spent? The money don't finish now. Do you understand? So prosper at your own level. Plus, if your DOP makes sense and it knows what it's doing, the quality of image you will get from a DSLR is not so far from the quality of image you will get from a Red. It is far, but it is not so far like heaven to hell. That's not how bad it is. The first set of films that we took to the cinemas were shot with a DSLR, Canon 5D Mark II, and then 5D Mark III, some with Canon 7D. The first set of films we took to the cinemas. So who said that a 5D is today, the newer version, still cannot shoot for the cinemas? Do you understand what I'm saying? It was good enough for the cinemas then. It should be good enough for the cinemas even now. But our people just have forgetful memory. The newest, shiniest camera is what everybody wants to use. My 60D is like 12 years old now that I bought it and I've been using it. It would have been even much better now, but because I use it for training, and you know how trainees can handle equipment anyhow. Yeah. Anyhow, if not, it will still be in pristine condition and the videos it will shoot would look, but the quality down, or what's it, back camera, I no go lie. I no go lie. It's only good for training purposes. I can't use it to shoot anything that I want to present to anybody, but it is good enough for training purposes. Okay, so your budget is the second criteria. Okay, and if your DOP is good enough, it can maximize the output from your camera. Third, not criteria now, still on that point, is light. If you have to choose between renting an expensive camera versus renting accessories to a cheap camera, always choose to rent accessories and a cheap camera, as in the extra money on it, use it to rent lights, gimbal, you know, all the other stuff that will add, other gadgets, other accessories that will add more meaning to your shot, than rent a high-end camera or you don't have accessories to, because every camera, cheap or expensive, still needs the accessories before it can bring out the best quality image. If you don't have quality lights, your image will still look funny, even if you use the best camera in the world. So why not use a fairly cheap camera, but spend more money on lights, camera movement tools, and stuff to make your shots look pretty? Are we following this? Yeah, so the DSLR. Now, the mirrorless is the same thing as the DSLR with one small change. Now, the DSLR should be called mirror camera, and then there will be mirrorless camera. Does that explain it? The technology inside a DSLR works with mirrors. Where you have mirrors reflecting light before it is captured on the sensor. But with a mirrorless, they've swapped out the mirrors, which forms the bulk of the size, and they've replaced it with a digital chip. So mirrorless tends to be smaller, same technology, same everything else as a DSLR, but it doesn't have mirrors. It now uses a digital chip. It has one major advantage over a DSLR, which is it is more sensitive to light. So should you be shooting in a situation where light is not so, you are better off with like a Sony A7S or a Panasonic GH5 than with a Canon 5D Mark III or Mark IV. But Canon now has its own mirrorless range. That's the R series, R5, R6, equally as good, maybe even better than the Sony A7S. But I will tout Sony A7S to you and the other cameras because me and Sony, we have some form of romance. We've not signed anything yet, but Sony Nigeria, they've been here like 2 or 3 times to visit, and they really want to collaborate with us, but we don't have, what's the word I would use now? The idea is when we have students and we want to work on a long-term project, but you notice that we've been scaling down our courses to be shorter term courses. There's a reason why. The longer our courses are, I say that most people don't finish the term of the course. There's something strange. I don't know if it is me or if it is them, but the kind of people we attract are those who know what they want to do with the knowledge they are coming to acquire. So for example, now in Uncle, we get studio. As Folari, for example, one of the guys who did graduation here was 2 of the people who did graduation here today were sponsored to come to learn here. The 2 of them have studios and they need hands to handle it for them. So they sent these guys to come here, learn so that they can come work with them. One of them is an alumnus here. The other person just discovered us. Of course, he has learned. He just learned it so that he has an idea of the business he's going into. He's not the one who wants to literally be editing. So he can't find, I'm sure he will continue sending boys to us to train for him. You know, that one does not need 6 months training. In fact, the earlier, the sharper you can train the people and make them competent, the better for him. Those are the kind of people, and they will still practicalize on the job. So I don't know how to explain it, but those are the kind of people who get drawn to us. So once you do a longer term course, and you can see that I'm a little rapid fire, by the end of 1 week, you don't get what you come for. By week 2, even you know that there's not, I'm good. And then there's time, they'll stop coming to class because now it's practicals. And the practical, you can do where you're coming from. It's the reason why we've been scaling down. It used to be a 3-month course. Then we made it a 4-week course. Then we did a 2-week course. This guy who came here, he stood up earlier. He's been in the class since Thursday, yesterday and today. His class is a 1 week. It's the first time we're trying out a 1-week cinematography and video editing class. 1 week. We did it in 3 days. He's done with cinematography and video editing. We finished it in 3 days. He said, yeah, first time he has never handled either the camera or edited before. And he learned both in 3 days. I've been, like I said, it's a challenge for me and I've been working at it. Like I'm getting better at it. Okay, so maybe even in a day itself, I can teach you all there is to know. If you have your equipment, I can teach you everything in 1 day. And if your brain can carry it, that's also a criteria. Now, other kinds of cameras, you can use this to shoot. Strangely, if you're a learner and you're starting off, you don't need this. You don't need this. You don't need this. You don't need this. This is good enough. Wait, this, no, this is good enough. So last week, this CWES student I just left, okay, I got them to each of the schools. There are 3 schools, 4 schools actually that are doing their CWES here. We do this every year. I intentionally take on CWES students just to teach. It's crazy. You see how much stress, then they stress me, but I see it as my own CSR. You don't need to loud. I'm putting stuff in people. They might not appreciate it. They might not know it yet. Me, I know what I'm doing. I'm trying to change the industry 1 person at a time. Different people putting different stuff in their head. Now they see how to do this thing different. They are not returning exactly the same way they came. It might not have been perfect, but it's different from how they see things before now. Okay, so last week, the project I gave them to do, I told them not to use the DSLR because the goal is how to identify a great image. And the best camera to use is that one that is in your pocket already. You don't need any other camera to practice and learn filmmaking than this one. Moving on. So the power of the DSLR, like I said, is the fact that you can change the lenses, okay? And it has manual control. This is the most important thing. Even if you use this thing to shoot, you can start learning how to frame shots, but when you want to use it for production proper, you will need to install extra software on it. The camera that comes with your phone is made for beginners, if I can use that word, laymen. It's not made for filmmakers, it's made for the person who just wants to take a selfie. Or a video, like just the job of that app is to make it as beautiful as possible for a layman. Everything is auto. It's made for laymen. Now, if you want to shoot a film with this, you need to install an app. Just search for DSLR app in the App Store. It will give you another camera app that now gives you manual control. So you can adjust aperture, shutter speed, ISO, and all the controls on the phone. No, and some of them are free. Well, most of them, there are several. The best ones are actually paid. Filmic Pro is the best, and it's paid. And used to control the camera. Yeah. Okay, other cameras you can use is the Action Pro. It's a small camera like this, records 4K. It's for sports. If you've ever seen like a biker and it looks as if he's recording from his head, it's these cameras. They're not bigger than this size. You can strap it to your helmet or body or bike, etc. And then drones come with their own cameras for aerial shots. Okay, let's go to accessories. Tripods, monopods, GorillaPod. What's the difference? He has carried the tripod again. Now, the tripod is a 3-legged apparatus made to make your shots stable. Once you mount your camera on the tripod, the shots look perfectly stable. But if you hand hold it, there's a shakiness. You don't know, but even when you're breathing, I'm exaggerating it now for you to see, but when you're breathing, if somebody lies down, just focus on the person. That's when you see that the stomach is going up. Same, that stomach is also pushing your hand and pushing the camera. You have a shaky shot. Don't ever trust your hand when you want to shoot. Put it on a tripod. Okay, next is a monopod. Has only one leg. This is for mobility. It's not as stable as the tripod. It's more stable than your hand, but it gives you the power for just carry and move on to the next place. Tripod, you'd have to gather all the leg, collapse it before you have the dolly for movement shots, dolly and track. Same with the slider. Slider is a tabletop version of the dolly. Then you have a jib or a crane. Yeah. What's the column? Gimbal has sent this one home. Except for events, people don't use jibs anymore. Jibs are the only way, back in the day, used to be the only way you can get aerial or movement shots. But now you can use a gimbal or a drone. So except in an event where you can't fly a drone, that's where they use gimbals nowadays. All right, then you have the matte box shoulder rig. The DSLR by default is very small, and some people are used to shoulder mount cameras. So you can buy a shoulder mount and fix the DSLR in it, okay, so that it's also bulky, and then you can shoot with it. The matte box is to prevent sunlight or light from your lighting from entering into the lens, so it shields the lens. Then you have the gimbal. The difference is this one just shields the light. It does not reduce the light. An ND filter reduces the amount of light coming into your camera. And that's a little technical. A DOP would understand this, but the major way we adjust, if you want to shoot depth of field, a depth of field shot is one where the background is blurry and your subject is sharp. We do that a lot for dialogue scenes and for other kind of scenes, but especially for dialogue scenes. Now, if you're shooting outdoor, you will need to open up your aperture. When you do that, a lot of light comes in, you will get depth of field, but your image will be overexposed. If you do it indoor, you know that there is not as much light in here than out there. You can still get by, But the moment you go into the sun, you can't open your aperture too much. If you do, overexposed. But to get that shallow depth of field, you must open it up. So the only solution is to wear dark glasses. Like if you have Apollo and you go outside, sun will enter your eye. You want to reduce the sun, what do? You wear dark shades. The dark shades for your camera is the ND filter. And it does that exactly. It reduces the light entering into your camera. So there. Then you have gimbal and Steadicam for stabilizing shots. I talked about handheld cameras and how your body transfers movement to it. Now the gimbal has it has shock absorbers that absorbs the movement so that it doesn't transfer to the camera. Meaning, even if you're walking or jumping or running with the gimbal absorbs the shock, does not pass it to the camera. So it looks as if it's flying instead of this. Okay, now this is the automatic electronic version. This is the manual version. This does not need batteries. This does. This automatically configures itself. This does not. But once you get a hang of how to use this, it's free forever. You don't need batteries again. You don't need anything. You're good to go. But this one is a little smoother, requires battery. Battery needs to be charged. You need to buy extra batteries, etc. So the choice is yours, which of the two you use. All right, okay, we talked about drone. Before we talk about light is not my focus today. This one's our basic stuff. Yeah, here, this is it. One, you need good light if you want to shoot. But there's something more important than good light. It is what you do with the light, or should I say how you manipulate the light is more important than the light itself. It's like a gun. It's how you use the gun, whether at war or to rob, that determines if we will shoot you yourself. Do you know if it is during war, if you shoot 100 people, you'll be given a medal. But after war, you carry gun, go person house, kill them. They'll kill you too, same gun. Okay, so how you manipulate light goes a long way in the results you will get. There's a major challenge we have as an industry. Most of us don't have formal training. Therefore, you see something on the screen. For example, you see this shot. Where's that shot again? This one. And you assume that if you carry camera outside, you will get this same kind of shot. You will be surprised. It will shock you that no matter how you try it, ordinary camera and ordinary human being cannot give you this shot. There's nothing special about it. But let me show you what I mean with the grammar I just blew. Now, when you see this other image I'm about to show you, you will get it. So look at this woman. Can you see what she looks like? Beautiful image, outdoor. You would think that if you carry camera outdoor, you get this. Never going to happen. Look at how they got it. Do you see the contraction they have before they get it? Number one is the shield. Sunlight is ugly on the human face, especially if it's coming from top down. It creates shadows, ugly shadows under the sun, under the eye, under the nose, under the chin, everywhere. This is called a screen. Automatically puts her in the shade, but this is not even complete. Let me show you this other image. This one. You see this, this looks like it's a natural shot. There's nothing natural when you see a Hollywood film. We are the one that think you can get a natural shot by just going outside to shoot. It no go happen. Now look up and see what they did. We have reconnected now. We're back up. Back to back. All right. So you notice that there is, you see the touch of light on the edges of his body. Do you see that? His head, can you see light? This brighter part is light. And then you see that the next thing is there's a darker part. See this part of his face? You see the touch of light here. But you see that this space is darker. And then you see the extra edge of light on. That is how we shoot. Dark light, dark, or light, dark, light. Except you're initiated into this. Your eye will not see this. You will not know that this is what gives their films the aesthetic it has. The assumption will be that just carry camera and we just shoot. Not be like so. Not be like so. Any image you want, you have to work to get it. Work hard to get it. Your cinematographer must know what he's doing. You should know how this thing works. So a director should actually take his cinematography course. Not because you want to handle the camera, but because you understand, you need to understand how this thing works, like in total. So even if your DOP is messing up, you is your job. Like you remember what I said when I said it's your job. Don't think that because DOP is fucking up, you will tell producer, say no be me, na DOP fuck up, now you don't shoot well. What do you mean? What do you mean by DOP na you fuck up? What's your job? Is somebody following this? Okay. So one of the things we do when we light is to get contrast. In Nigerian film, they will say no shadow. Don't tell me you've not heard it before. They light so that there's no shadow. Are you normal? Is there no shadow in real life? There is shadow. Wait. If I did tell us that there's shadow on this shot, but you will not know that there's shadow. Is there shadow? Sir, is there shadow? Where is the shadow? On his chin. Okay. Now, you know, it wasn't until you looked hard that you noticed the shadow. Their films always have shadows. They soften the shadow. You use a, where is my reflector? The idea is to have something to soften light. You can either reflect light onto the face, for example, more important, most people don't know what this thing is for. People just buy a reflector, and this is the only thing they use in the reflector. This is probably the most important part of this reflector. Hello? Why? Because as much as you want to add light, there are times when you want to subtract light. This guy adds light. Who subtracts light? Excuse me, sir. This one. Now, there's one other guy inside. Most people who shoot, they don't know what it is for. Because it does not reflect light. So you use only this for reflection. I mean to bounce back light. This thing is almost useless. It can't reflect. It can't bounce back light. So what's its job? It's a screen. So in the front, this, you know, you're not going to the sun. You're just from the sun. The sun, by default, is a hard light source. Film loves soft light. How do you turn hard light to soft light? This guy. Sometimes you don't want to turn it to top. You use this, the silver side. And if it's in the evening, you see that in another 1 hour when the sun is going down, we call it golden hour. The color of the sun, the color around will change to like orange, warm. That is what this is for. So the color of the light you're reflecting mimics the light that is coming. Most people, when they carry camera, we get reflectors. They don't know what they take out. They have no idea what it's used for. Now, equipment we will not get for Lagos Film School. Sense deal. May God provide sponsor. May carry equipment give us. We will do wonders. Contract. Which company? Sony. Yeah. It's about. Is the duration thing. If regular, like 2 months, when students will be around for a period of time, and then we will do projects. What they were ready to do is bring two things I asked of them. One, they will come in and do like a workshop, an introduction of the equipment to students. And two, we will use that set of equipment to do a production, which will be powered by Sony. Lagos Film School production, exactly. The Lagos Film School production powered by Sony. But the challenge is we don't really get enrollment like that. How many of you are in the producing class now, physically? I told us how all of this went. It was the only one who essentially registered for the course. It's the reason why I decided to just do certificates only for the rest. When we do cinematography and video editing courses too, you have 2, 3 people. All of those guys you saw, COS, 3, 4 sets for the ones that graduated evening. And this class that had the highest enrollment was 4 people. 4. That is not, you can't call Sony for 4 people. Do you understand? They are not by there. They constantly call me, they send messages, but I can't. Do you understand? That's the reason why I've been like this.
Can you collaborate with another film school? Okay, and have a bigger project. Another film school. Is that absolutely possible? What?
So if it was a production studio, fine, but if film school, I don't know. Can I build so that I can? Okay. Now, the thing is this, if it was with a film school, there are 2 categories of film schools. Those who are set and those who are they call themselves film school, they don't be film school. So if you're calling film schools, there are just like 5 other than Lagos Film School. Del York, obviously, Ebony Life, Royal Arts Academy, those are the top 3. You might now count Lufodo, but that one is more of stage than film. And there's one in Lekki, HD Film Academy. And finally, Praxis. Praxis is somewhere in Bega. Those are the only people I consider as film schools.
What of Pepsi?
What of who?
Pepsi.
I didn't get that.
Pepsi.
Pay what? Pay who? Pay how? Okay, oh yeah, let me include Pepsi. Yes, and including Pepsi. Let me include Pepsi so that it will not be like beef. I don't really look at Pepsi as a film school, but then let's add Pepsi too to the mix. Okay. Now, but seriously speaking now, so those are like the 6, 7 film schools in Lagos. Every other person, maybe not just camera in the teach or not editing in the teach, and then they will add all the others on flyer. If you get to that place, they can't and they don't offer those courses. Okay. Now, these other ones, they are bigger size-wise than Lagos Film School. Asking for a collaboration. You will not. Oh, I forgot. We met at that Indonesian thing with KAP. We spoke. His lady called me back. She was like, do we mind the collaboration? I said, I don't mind, but I don't know exactly how. I don't even know what to pitch to them. I think they're kind of open to it. Now, the other ones that are lower, they can't even forget. So if we collaborate, I'll rather look at a studio, a production studio, than look at a film school. Do you understand? Your mic. Oh, okay, you agree. Okay, all right. So if you have a production studio who would want to partner with us, oh, I'm all good for that. That would make a world of sense to me. Because we would agree, if it was a film school, we would disagree on a lot of things. How we teach is not how they teach. What our own approach is not their own approach. So it might not really work. But we are open to collaborations. In fact, last year I was tempted to do like a, as they sell shares in big companies, something like that, like 10 million for, how many percent shares did I call it? 40% shares of Lagos Film School. 10 million, so that we can just get equipment and the person should just sit down and just be collecting, waiting call them. Here's another example. So back to this image, you understand what I'm saying now? When I said this image, that when you see it, you think it was just camera that got this shot. And I said it's impossible for just the camera to get this shot. Your question is, what is special about it? Do you know what is special about it now? The specialness is not so obvious. I said earlier, when salt is inside something, you know, go feel them. It is the absence of salt that we tend to feel. The absence of salt is what is absent in our own industry. When you add the salt, meaning it looks like it should look. It might not, but there's some, you know, this image tells the story they want it to tell. Our own images, no, they tell anything. Does not. We go just shoot them as we see them anyhow. Anyway, moving on. So that's that with, right? This is the extent they go to get the best shot from a camera. They are using the most expensive camera, but then the accessories on point. Look at the light, the HDMI light. Look at the size of that light. And then they soften the light before it touches your subject. Do you get it? Same with if you're using a small camera. Mimic that same. You can use phone light, torch light to light your subject, or get a sultana material to put in between. It doesn't have to be expensive. This thing is about sense. It's about knowing the principles and employing them. The only problem is you can't do that when a celeb is there. But when you're learning, your job when you're learning is not to make the back end look pretty. Nobody cares how you got the shot. The question is, does the shot look good? Do we get it now? So I hope I'm inspiring you to test for more knowledge in the areas of cinematography, shooting, cameras, lighting, not necessarily the handling, but understanding what a good and great image is so that you can aspire for that. When you engage a DOP, you can give him instructions of what you want. Do we get this? All right. And then lenses. All I'll say about lenses before we go to technical is move back, zoom in. What did I say? Move back, zoom in. When the next time his DOP wants to shoot for you, just tell him move back and zoom in. Most things shot with the phone tend to look ugly. Do you know why? Because the lens, the default lens on the camera on the phone is a wide angle lens. The shot on the right, A, is what you get with a wide angle lens close to the face. Does she look pretty? No, but look at B. She looks much better. Why? Because it's a telephoto lens. To get this to behave like a telephoto lens, you move back, you zoom in. Whether it's a pinch to zoom or switch to the next lens, because it also has a telephoto lens. Most cameras now, most phones now have 2 or 3 lenses. One for wide angle, the other for telephoto. Are we getting this? Telephoto shot is what flatters the human face. Wide angle shot does not flatter. How do you get a telephoto shot? Most times you just have to move back and zoom in. Instead of zooming out and moving, and you would know that, check most DOPs, when they shoot, they move very close to the subject and the camera is the ugliest shot you can get. So what should you tell your DOP next time? Move back and zoom in. You go want to justify and say, Oga, just now tell him, I want you to use the telephoto end of your lens. So move back and zoom in. You will get a much better shot that way. I'm saying that because I don't want to bug us with the technicalities of the lens, but the most important thing, move back, zoom in. Why? Because it's the telephoto end of the lens that flatters the human face, not the wide angle end of the lens. Are we good? Okay. Yeah, the rest is just technical stuff. What it looks like. This one kind of telephoto. It's not shaking. Oh, mouse. Okay. This is a telephoto shot, blurry background, deep, shallow depth. This, on the other hand, is a deep focus, meaning everything is sharp and in focus. But with this other one, it's not shallow popio, shallow focus. We get it? All right, moving on. These are some of the images you will get from a wide angle lens. If you're shooting another generality, if you're shooting music videos, you want to shoot more with a wide angle lens. Wide angle lens has a way of flattering music videos, and it shows a lot of the background. Telephoto lenses show less of the background, which is good for movies, because most times, except you want to decorate the whole place, you want to shoot it small and still exclude here and here. We want to arrange just this corner and shoot this corner. Is that not what we do most times when we film? People are here, and you want to avoid them. Telephoto. With a music video, however, they do set design. You want to show the beauty and the splendor of the whole place, wide angle lens of the set. Do we get this? Okay. Wide angle, telephoto. Moving on. Okay. And then mic for your sound. Number one, any mic is better than no mic. I mean, any mic is better than the microphone on your camera. The mic on the camera is one of the most terrible inventions of man. So terrible, the sound is so, you just don't even try it. Any other microphone, including the Panasonic, this 12,000, 15,000 Panasonic boom mic, it's much better. This guy is much better than not using anything. This is the Panasonic boom mic I was talking about. This is what it looks like. Quite cheap. For learning purposes, it's good. Either you're learning or you're doing true. It is better than the mic on your, what's it called? Camera. Why? Proximity. The closer the mic is to the subject, the better the quality of sound it gets. If you're recording from your camera is far already. Remember, move back, zoom in. Distance, don't do. It will not pick quality. But the moment you put this on a boom mic and you move it very close to your subject, you're getting crystal clear. It will come with its own noise. Now it's easy to play, but you will get quality audio from it. Do we get this? And then depending, there are times when either you're shooting a wide shot or not, you can't hide the mic in the shot. For that, you might use a lapel. Lapel mic should be your savior then, especially for wide angle shots. There's no way the boom no go show inside the camera. Use lapel mic. Number two, if you have more than two people having a conversation, the boom mic becomes difficult to use. Boom mic is still okay for two people. Once you have more than two, it's not easy. So lapel mic is a go-to. Then lastly, redundancy, meaning have more than one source of sound. Use boom mic, still use lapel. Record all of those sources. If one messes up, you have an alternative. All of them should not mess up at the same time, except village people don't let you rest. Are we on the same page? All right. And then lastly, for the other technical parts of what I wanted to share with us, my screen sharing and stuff. Move back and zoom in. Yeah, move back and zoom in. Where is that? This guy. So we've talked about types of cameras, yeah? Video resolution. Like I said earlier, the very first question you want to ask is, what platform is this content going on to? Yes? Okay. And that determines the camera you would use. Yes? And also determines the resolution you're shooting at. 4K, HD, etc. Maybe even be 6K or 8K, depending on what the platform you're putting your content on requires. Okay? So you either have SD, standard definition, or HD, high definition. And then there's UHD. Let me put that here. UHD, ultra high definition, 4K and 6K, is ultra high, higher than normal HD. HD has two flavors, mini HD and full HD. Make sure they record full HD for you. This is 1920 by 1080. Yes? All right. Now, one other thing to talk about, what constitutes video quality? Most people think it is the K, 2K, 4K that is high quality of video. The K does not matter. You can have a 4K camera that the quality of the video is nonsense. And you could have a regular HD camera that the quality is gosh. For example, what's this HD Red camera? The first Red did not shoot 4K, it shot HD. Yeah, that camera is still better than most 4K cameras today, which are cheap 4K cameras. Do we get this? So the age of the camera doesn't matter. The age of the camera doesn't matter. The what's the code of the camera? But Yeah. So what are the things that actually matter? A is the dynamic range or the latitude of the camera, and B is the sensor size. The bigger the size of the sensor, the better the quality of the video should be. All things being equal. Second is the dynamic range. This is measured in stops. So when you want to either buy, rent a camera, you want to ask how many stops of dynamic range does it record? Red and Ari claim 14, maybe even 16 stops of dynamic range. That sounds like gibberish. I know. The DSLR, some record 8 stops, some 10. That's the cap for most DSLRs, 10 stops. But high-end cameras, 10 stops of light, or 8 in some cases. But Ari, Red, some Panasonic high-end cameras record as much as 13 stops of light. The higher the stops of light, though, the dynamic range, the better. In simple English, Red, Ari, a couple of Panasonic cameras, maybe even the 5D Mark IV has a higher dynamic range than other previous models. You can use any of those cameras. Okay, and then to close here, language of cinema. We'll talk of framing and composition, types of shots, and the basic rules of cinema. Let's come to here. Yeah, this is what we're coming to. The shots. Move back and zoom in. I hear you. Okay. Films are made up of scenes, sequences. Sequences are made up of scenes. Scenes are made up of shots. Shots are made up of frames, but let's leave frame alone. Okay, so the most important part of this is the shot. Multiple shots is what you edit together to form a scene. Scene is the major block of a film. Multiple scenes is what forms your film. So if you understand how to shoot a scene, or more importantly, how shots interwork together to form a scene, you have mastered film. Do we get this? Shot is what you need to learn, how shots work together to form a scene. You can duplicate that over multiple scenes, get your film shot. So let's look at the scene, the shots. Okay. So you have shot sizes, camera. Let me just. So we'll group types of shots into 4 categories. Yeah, based on the size of the shot. Yeah, based on the angle, the camera angle or height of the camera, based on camera movements, and based on number of people they've shot. So let's start with shot size, based on the size of the shot. When we say shot size, what do we mean? We mean the size of your subject in the frame. When we see your subject from head to toe, this is called a wide shot. Hello? When we see your subject from head to toe, this is a wide shot. When and why do we use a wide shot? Most people know what a wide shot is. But the question is, do you know when to use a wide shot? Somebody feeling me? The main question you want to answer is, when should I use a wide? When should I use a medium? When should I use a close-up? That's the question you want to answer. So when should you use the wide shot? The wide shot is used to A, establish geography. Where are we? B, to establish time of day. Is it by day or by night? And C, to establish what we call geospatial relationships, meaning who is standing next to who is sitting next to. If I shoot this as a wide shot now, we know you are to that extreme, she's to this extreme. When we go to her close-up and she's talking to you, what direction is she supposed to look like? That way? this way. Why? Because we've established the relationship geospatially between you guys. So in our close-up, she's looking this way. In your close-up, you're looking that way. In his close-up, if he turns back, we know he's talking to him. Why? We've established it in the wide shot. So the wide shot is to give context to your shot, to help your audience understand, oh, okay, this is where we are, this is who is who. So when we go to the close-up, they can follow with what's in the happen. Are we good? Next, okay, these are examples of the wide shot. Yeah, where are we? In like a forest or a bush, yes? Okay, how about the relationship between them? You know this person is sitting on this side and this side, yeah? What time of day? We can tell all of that from this shot. How about this? You get it? Where are we? The desert. What time of day? By day. Proximity is almost close to where it's going to. Compared to the whole of the desert, you know it's almost close to where it's going to now. You know you could shoot a shot where it's just alone in the whole of the desert, and we shoot a panning shot, shoot the whole desert and seem like a speck of dust to let the audience understand that this guy is alone in the vast desert. And this one too, and this one too. Let's move to here, medium shot. The medium shot is from waist up, from edge to waist. What is it for? It's to A, for body language, and to show us more details than what a wide shot can give us. What is that? I need something to drink. It's also how it has finished, no mind. How we shoot cutaway shots, B-roll, and finally, also for geospatial relationships. For example, in this shot, we can still see who is standing next to who, the relationship between them. Same with this. Also, we can see the body language between them. What is body language? Now, for close expressions, we use close-ups, essentially for the face. If you go to a wide shot, if this person is angry, we might not really know. Where do we capture it the most? In a medium shot. Because you're not angry only with your face, there are some body gestures that also reflect anger or happiness or anxiety. You show that in a medium shot. Yes, for dialogue too. But the most, what's it called for dialogue is a close-up shot. A close-up shot is for intimacy, to give details, to for facial expressions, for emotions. In fact, if you want the audience, remember our job is to make the audience feel a certain way. Do you remember? If you want them to feel in a particular way, show them your character in the same mood. People tend to reflect what they are seeing on the screen. For example, not this guy. This guy, how about this girl? Wait, do you feel like, when you look at this girl? Exactly. When you do something in a close-up, your audience tends to mirror that same emotion. Okay. Yes. And that's not even a problem. It's when they use it. How you use it's still the same thing. If you're going to build a beautiful house, now block you will use. If you build an ugly house, what are you going to use? Now the same block. Now how you use the block, now you determine the result. So we're still going to use the same shots. The question is how. Okay, so what did they tell us about shots? You start with a wide shot, establish the scene, and then you come closer to medium and to closer. Yes? Picture this. This guy is in a coffin. He's been there for 2 days. They buried him alive. But you want to start with the audience not knowing where he is and what is happening, because he's just speaking almost nonsense. He's speaking sensible stuff, but also saying stuff that is not sensible at the same time. So he starts with like the monologue. He's talking to himself, and we just see like his close up. Or rather, before I even say what shots you use, if your goal is to not let the audience know where we are, what should be your first shot, a wide shot or a close up? But in a Nigerian film, because we have been told that you establish it with a wide shot, you first of all do wide before you do close. And that defeats the purpose of the story. Whereas your story is what should motivate the shot that you use. So for that kind of shot, you probably do a close-up and the camera starts pulling out slowly, slowly, while he's talking slowly, until we realize that it's actually in a confined space. The camera pulls out and we see he's in a coffin. The camera continues pulling out and we see that he's buried underground. Now you know why Mr. Man is behaving like scum. Your film would have much more impact, emotional impact that way. Do we get it? So are we still going to use the same kind of shots? Yes. It is how we use it that determines. All right, let me take us to close up. There are 3 camera heights you can take. High angle, high level, and low angle. What's the difference? Most film is shot at the eye level, where you place the camera roughly at the same height as the eye of your subject. Why? Remember that the camera is the eye of your audience. Your audience sees your film through the lens of the camera. He's talking to me. Why is my camera here? Who is he talking to? Me or this? So why does he shoot like this? That's the reason why the camera is here, mimicking my eyes. What I am seeing, so the camera stays here and shoots its close up. Does that make some sense to us? That also brings us to the concept of matching eye lines. You want to match eye lines. So we have eye angle shot where the camera is sitting down, and a low angle shot up at the surface. And of course, the eye level, same height as the eye and the subject. Same height. Then the camera should be at the same height. One here, one here. Yes. Shoot. I get this question. It depends. So there are 2 kinds of shots, clean and dirty close-ups. A clean close-up is where you place the camera. I'm not here, you place the camera here, shooting at him. He's looking into the camera as if he's talking to me. Or the camera is here, shoots him, although he's looking at me, but it shoots him clean. A dirty shot is an over-the-shoulder shot that shows parts of me when it's on its own close-up. When do we do that? To show the relationship between the 2 people talking. To show that there is some spatial relationship between them. If you want this person to be isolated, then you shoot a clean shot. That's number 1. Number 2 is where do you place the camera? Of course, you know, are you shooting a clean or a dirty shot? Most conversations are shot over the shoulder. Where you're shooting from behind me shows a part of me to show his own close-up. And then the reverse angle. Now, your question, the reason why I don't want to answer your question immediately is because it's a little further, but let's talk about it.
I can't see or hear you, sir.
Sorry. I got carried.
I understand.
Okay. So
thank you.
Yeah. The 180 degree rule says when you shoot your master, you know your master is the shot you take of all the people in the scene. So I saw it. You don't have to face this. Okay, let's say they're in class and they sit this way and they are having a conversation. This can happen, yes? Good. Our master will be somewhere here, shooting a 2 shots of them. That's the 2 of them. Yes? When I want to shoot the close-up, one close-up can be I will shoot for his close-up shooting here. And for his own close-up, I'm shooting this way, he's looking this way. That's one close-up. An alternative close-up will be okay. I'm shooting over his shoulder to his face. Yeah, the reverse will be from here. Shooting over his own shoulder or straight out for his own close-up. How does the 180 degree rule affect that? Where did you place your master? when you put your camera here, draw an imaginary line and make sure you don't cross that line with the other camera. If you do, you will confuse your audience. Meaning, you shoot one here, and 180. 180. Shoot the close up for one here. You now come to shoot the other close up from here. Here. Not from behind. This is how you should think of church. If you're in church, and I'm the pastor, and I'm preaching, you know it is okay for anybody to be from here forward. Nobody can come behind the pulpit behind the pastor. That's how you should do that. So once you place your camera, see your camera as audience, as a congregation, the person you're shooting as the pastor. Make sure your camera does not leave that 180 degrees to shoot any angle you want to shoot off.
Now, another thing. When you place this camera here now,
yes,
it is that in the top.
yes,
Not when you capture the camera.
yes.
What do you mean?
There's nothing wrong with background.
Then you have to be careful of the background.
You should be mindful of it, such that if you don't want the background, you should either move the subject or do a shallow focus that will block out the background. If the background is yes. Yes, but wherever you put it, that's the way you measure your 180. You understand? So they do that in some films. I hope you'll be able to hear. When they are shooting, the shot will be from here and from here. The close-up will be from here and from here. You see such, which is also perfectly fine. But just make sure you observe the 180. Do you get it? In closing, about the 180, let me do something. Let me stop sharing so that you can see this fully. Am I sharing anything already? Stop share. Okay.
Yes. Right. Yeah, good. Okay.
All right. Thank you. So you have two people. Yeah. Having a conversation. To have this person here, and for this person to be here, and there is more space on this side and space on this side. It's called lead room. There should be more space in the direction your subject is facing. You're on. Getting it. Yes, same as talking room. Lead room, talking room. What's the other one they call it? That's the way it should be. So the idea is this. Okay, we can use this as example here. Can you, so that you're not in the shots? Good. If the best way to show that I'm talking to the class is not for, can you see the screen here? If this is what I'm shooting, you know this is awkward. It looks like I'm facing the wall. This is not a good shot. This is the better shot. Now we know that I'm speaking to some people in front of me, lead room. So you should always put space in the direction of where your subject is facing, in the front of the speaker. Even if it's a close-up shot, more space in front. Medium shot, more space in front, lead room. Then there comes headroom. Headroom, this is like correct headroom. The space between the top of my head and the top of the frame. You don't want this amount of headroom, it's too much. And you don't want this, you know, they cut my head. So you want just a fair amount of headroom between the head of your subject and the top of the frame. Down. Yes, headroom is fine here.
But if you come,
but where you are, headroom is not fine.
Yes.
But it depends. If there are multiple people, you will judge by the main character. to decide the shot. Any question?
So now, if you are in the kitchen now, for example, let's say you're having a shot in the kitchen where 2 or 3 people are there. Yes. Maybe now the kitchen and stuff that is blocked. This way, all this way had something you get, and then there are 3 people trying to do something in this kitchen. How are you going to do that? You don't have enough space. Let's just say the kitchen is between where you can get to this.
The question is, what do you want the audience to feel? How do you want them to perceive what you're shooting? Don't ever think about you. Don't think of your comfort. But first of all, okay, this thing I want to show, for example, there are 3 people doing stuff. One of them wants to poison the other person. Let's assume that's what we're shooting, then what is our focus? To show the sneaky behavior of others are doing, but this person is, before we go to the close, to show how she's doing something. Is that not what we're trying to do?
Yeah.
That is what will inform how you shoot when you use your camera and the framing of the shot. That might be the only shot there. Yeah, but the idea is your story is what determines how you frame the shot. So, theoretical or practical, the idea is the story. What do you want the audience to feel? And then frame your shot in such a way they feel that.
Okay, let me give you a scenario now. Okay. For example, an auntie, and he has 2 siblings at home, and they finish eating. They drop their plate, and then they were playing. They didn't watch the play, and they're playing with their phone. And she came in, and she didn't want to shout.
Yes.
She came into the kitchen. They were busy with their stuff.
Yeah.
Then she looked at the sink. All the plates are there.
Yeah.
And she, in that scene, she will not talk.
Yeah.
But she wants to make sure that the people know that she's not happy.
Yeah.
With what they are
The
doing.
most important kind of shot where your subject is not saying, don't have dialogue. You say? No, she's there. She's there.
So I wanted to know, how do you take this shot?
All right. So 3 things are in this. Number 1, the plates. Number 2, the kids. Number 3, the auntie. Shipping. And the goal.
And the kids them enter before them.
The kids. So the goal is to show that kids did not wash plates. Auntie sees the plates, is not happy, and there is
Expression.
it changes her visage expression. Yes, you're with us, ma'am. Yeah, and it changes her expression.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. Like I said, it depends on how you want to say it. So one thing is, let me give another example before we come back to this. Femi is coming up the staircase, and there's a thief in his house. Yes, there are 2 ways you can tell this story. 3, actually. First way is the audience knows that there's a thief in Femi's house. Femi does not know. And the audience knows that Femi does not know. How do you shoot this? You shoot the robber doing what he's doing. You shoot Femi coming. You shoot Femi coming, what's it called? Up the stairs. You shoot the robber, you do like an intercut. Robber, Femi. So Femi gets to the door, and as he's opening it, is when the robber knows that somebody is coming in. So maybe he hides, and Femi enters, he jumps Femi. The question is, how do you want the audience to feel? In that scenario, how do you think audiences are feeling? They are feeling like, especially if you made us like Femi. And we don't want harm to come to Femi. So, and we know harm is waiting for him. So we're like, don't behind you. That's how the audience feels. I'm using this scenario so that you understand how to approach it. How you want to approach it is, how do you want the audience to feel? Second scenario. The first one was like, the audience knows there's a thief. Second scenario is the audience does not know there's a thief in the house. We see Femi coming to the house, whereas there's a thief waiting for him in the house. Yeah, Femi comes up the stairs. In this case, our focus is on Femi is coming. I'm like, what's it? And it's when he opens the door, the same way he is surprised when the thief jumps at him is the same way the audience is surprised when the thief jumps at him. Are we getting this? Different scenarios to it. But how you frame the shot is dependent on what you want the audience to feel. So in this case, if the idea is to make the audience either pity the kids or dislike the kids on behalf of the auntie, is what will determine what you show first and how you. Now, this has gone beyond just shooting now. It's the shooting and editing. I hope you've noticed, because it's not just how you shoot it, it's also how you edit it that tells the story. You can shoot it well. Imagine a stupid editor handling it. Are you getting this? Yes. It's the reason why the director has to be involved from beginning to the end. You know the story you want to tell. You should make sure that story is what is told. Shoot here one. So you can shoot all of this. Shoot the kids playing, shoot the getting mates, shoot the auntie walking, shoot the expression on her face looking at the kids. But what matters is how you edit it to tell the story. How you shoot it is not the most important. It's important how you now combine the shots to tell the story. Do we get it? Can we, you know, as we have reached post stop, I've talked about high angle, low angle, people of God. High angle, low angle, high level. And the only one I didn't intentionally is one shot if it's just one person shot. Two shots if there are two people. Three shots if there are three. If there are four, it becomes a group shot. Yeah, and if there are more than 10, you can't count them 1, 2, it becomes a crowd shot. We know the camera movement. If your camera is fixed on a tripod, meaning it doesn't move, it's on a pivot. If this is a tilt, when it tilts up and down, and this is a pan when it pans left to right. You notice that I make sure it is fixed at the center. Different from the camera is free moving. Dolly in is when the camera moves in, dolly out is when it goes back. And right left to right, dolly left or dolly right. When do we use this one? Two people are in position one, and the camera follows them. Tracking shot or dolly left to right. However, if they are walking towards the camera and the camera is moving back as they are moving towards, you know that they've done either in or out, or they are walking away from the camera and the camera is following them from behind. Do we get this? Other than because the actors are moving, which other time do we use movement shots? To increase the intensity of the emotion. So I'm telling you that I'm your dad, and I want to tell you that I'm disowning you. This is not the first time. This is not the second time. We've done this 3 good times. If you have a static shot, you could start with a wide and shoot on a close-up. And when it gets to the point of, and from today, you're on the medium shots. You said? Yes. And after it is from today, come to the close. I don't want to see you in my house. On the close up for effect. What's that? Shotun ti lone. You don't share Zoom. Ah, no, Zoom is here. Okay. All right. You know, if that's static shot, it will be much more powerful if you're using a dolly shot. Start from the video. And as it starts, you know this is not your first time, and the camera is slowly pushing. And by the time it gets here, is when it says the last word. Like, you know, it's coming, it's starting from wide and getting tighter and getting tighter. And by the time it gets here, from today, don't come to. Do you understand? That makes it increases the emotional impact of the scene. I know we don't want to go. Like, it's like we should stay here till 10 p.m. What's that?
No, we don't want to go. Please, but let us stay. Oh.
What did she say? I have
We
to
don't want to
go.
go, we don't
Jesus. I'm actually going to pick my kids. I have to go.
When I go and pick your kids.
I have
Children
to
over everything.
I should slide back.
Children over everything. Go and pick your kids.
Forward or back? Back. Beforehand. Long before pre-production. This is what we do with production. Yes. Yes. Hold on. So, number one is the outdoor shot. Number one. Number two, if it's outdoor, what are the challenges that will come from outdoor? Sun. Okay, so what do I want to do with the sun? I want to block it, or I want to soften it, or I want to add extra light and fill in the shadows. Those are the three. Yes. Yeah. Those are the three questions you want to answer. Questions. Hold on. Just follow the question. If you are outdoor for a shoot, those are the three questions you want to answer. A, do I want to block the sun? B, do I want to soften it instead of blocking it? C, do I want to leave the sun but use extra light to fill in the shadows? And that is what will determine